about this in a minute.
Theoretically, we're live now.
Theoretically. Always running on theory.
Yes.
That's just a theory.
Oh, good.
And I'm not carrying on with that before we get DMCA'd.
Uh-huh. Also, my Chrome crashed, which is interesting. What? My browser crashed, so we might not be live. Hold on, let's see.
Oof. Big. Oh. That could be a big oof.
Nope, I think we are live, yeah.
Would possibly appear. Yes, we absolutely are.
Yay.
I'm just going to check it.
You checking sound?
Oh, yeah, I just got to wait for this bloody advert.
Right.
Yeah, this looks very, very different on my screen now. You might want to talk and say something.
Oh, talkie.
There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Me forgotty.
Yeah, I know. I forgot how an video format works.
I forgot.
I thought just staying here silent.
I'm in the audience. I'm in the audience today.
Well, you might as well just. I don't know. I'm even going to finish that sentence.
Right, okay.
Not even going to finish that sentence. Right, I'll do a quick.
Okay.
Thing.
I'll talk to myself.
Sounds about normal anyway.
It does, 100%. All by myself. Oh, chat. It would be great if you joined us, but you don't have to. I'm doing a sound test, which is why I'm talking like this. Whee!
How does the keyboard sound, by the way?
I don't hear it.
Exactly.
Oh. No more clicky-clacky keyboard.
Yes. I bought basically what is essentially the same, keyboard.
Right.
Well, company anyway. But it's, it is still a mechanical one, but it's, it's softened for some reason.
Oh, right. Very cool.
So, do I muck around? No, I think I'll leave it. I'll show you later.
Alright, okay.
Yeah, that's... Oh, let me just do the tweet as well. God, I have too much to do.
I know. Running a podcast is a lot of work.
Ah, rod buckets.
What?
I haven't logged into Twitter on the computer yet.
Oh, no! For those who may be just joining us, Pete got a new computer. So
finally.
Yeah. He's trying
this. Bloody time, to be honest.
Ah.
You might have noticed that my video is obviously slightly different because I bought a new webcam to go along with it. Now outputting at 1080p.
Yeah.
I'm not running off a pathetic webcam that my work bought me.
But we can see your pink dressing gown in the back.
Oh, thank you for that.
It's not Pete's. Although it wouldn't matter if it is. Dudes?
For what you do. I was going to say for what you know.
Yeah, true. Okay, good point.
No, it is Rachel's.
And also, I do want to go on record and say that dudes look good in pink. That's a silly thing.
Some of them do.
Yeah, I really like it on dudes. Depending on if it's their color or not. But
of course, yeah.
Yeah. But I kind of have a thing for pink. Pink. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Gee, would you have really guessed that you have a thing for pink?
No.
No.
Never.
Never.
You know what's funny though? It's not my favorite color.
No, of course not.
I just like it a lot.
I mean, to say that I don't like pink would be an understatement, obviously, because I like the primary color it's based on.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, red is your color. Yes.
Yes.
This is true. Oh my gosh! While we're waiting,
2 seconds. I'm trying to log into the bloody podcast.
Okay. Well, I will talk while we're waiting. First of all, I never wear white on screen, so that's really breaking
Sorry.
tradition. I don't wear white on screen because
Yeah.
it makes me look about 5 times bigger than I am.
I mean, that's normal for most people, if I'm honest. So.
Yeah, but when you're already built like a linebacker, you want to detract from that. And female and built like a linebacker, you want to detract from
Look,
that.
I was gonna say, don't diss the linebackers.
Yes, but not all females want to be like that.
Yeah, I mean that's
Some
kind of
do,
true.
and that's cool. I accept that. I do not.
Yeah,
What was I saying? I was gonna make a point, Pete.
You don't wear white.
It was before that. I got distracted by my white shirt. Was it about gender crap? No. I don't remember. Oh, I do now. It's because we were talking about red, and then red and blue made me think of Nintendo, which made me think of this next thing I'm going to say. So I'm completely obsessed with making chocolate molds again, which is something I used to do in my previous life. So I'm working on the molds that everyone saw at like Valentine's Day on Nintendo's feed, where it was the
God, yeah.
People went crazy.
Please make this, please make this.
Yeah, so I was like, I want to see if I can do it. So
I'm gonna make them.
I'm gonna make it.
Fair enough.
That's what I'm doing this week. I don't know that I'll sell anything, but I'm sure gonna try it. Hey, Nana!
Howdy,
howdy, howdy, howdy, ho! Howdy, 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 ho! I love that song. Minnie the Moocher, I think that's what it's called. So, for our audience, I'm very tired. So
yes,
you're gonna get really random stuff.
I mean, more than normal.
More than normal random.
Sweet. What I was looking forward to.
It's been a cray week. Cray.
I mean, yeah, given like what I know, obviously, yeah, it's been a bit mad.
Yeah, but also I'm dying like to get out of this freaking house. I want to leave.
Sorry, I thought I had something on my wall behind me. It actually just turns out it's on my screen.
It's a spider.
Ugh, I'm running. This room now belongs to it.
It's Spider-Man.
Can he do whatever a spider can?
He can.
Okay, does that mean he has problems getting out of the bathtub?
Spider-Pig.
Okay, I've just made reference to something you clearly did not know about.
What, that spiders can't get out of bathtubs?
No. It actually comes from an old like Flash animation back in the Newground days called The Decline of Video Gaming.
Yay, Newgrounds. No, I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. The Decline of Video Gaming was bloody hilarious. It was really great. Like, I can't remember what it was like that actually spurred the joke on, but I think they go to E3 and they're like looking at the new Spider-Man game. And they were like, oh, if Spider-Man could do whatever a spider can, does that mean he has problems getting out of the bath? And it just flashes to him having problems getting out of the bath.
That's awesome. I love
and then
that.
And then they go, oh, does that mean he also has a perpetual fear of newspapers? Is J. Jonah Jameson threatening him with a newspaper?
Oh my gosh. I'm pretty sure I've seen reference to something like that. And I love the not being able to get out of the bathtub. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's also one of the funniest jokes they ever made. Like, was talking about the new Resident Evil game that has constant ads.
What game is that?
Like for an online Resident Evil game.
Yeah, like a mobile one or something. Oh, right.
Yeah, so this is obviously like back in the day when Outbreak and Outbreak File 2 were out.
Oh my goodness.
So they were like, oh yeah, the next we're going to show you the next Resident Evil game, and literally every time they walk through a door, it's an advert for like zombie repellent or something like that. It's really stupid.
Gosh. Bueno. I'm just gonna say that for the rest of the show. So I still don't have a new camera. But Pete does.
I've got a new everything, for Christ's sakes, apart from a microphone and a new screen.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed, editing should be easier.
I hope so. Although today will probably be easy because we're doing the quick and easy edit.
well, it's not the
quick
big
and dirty.
easy.
Yeah, quick and dirty. That's what
I do love me a big easy.
Sure you do.
I think I've ever been in that situation before. Ever.
It's funny to me, being from East Texas, the Big Easy is just well, it's New Orleans, but Louisiana.
Yes, I'm fully aware of what it means. That's why I made reference to it. The big old sleaze.
I'm gonna make beignets. I can't eat them. I'm just baking like crazy and giving food away.
What is a beignet?
It is a French donut that they serve in New Orleans. It got fried in New Orleans. It's a fried.
Is that actually how it's supposed to be pronounced? Because I've obviously heard New Orleans and.
Some people say New Orleans. But in East Texas, West Louisiana, it's New Orleans. It's because we run it together. It's not even on purpose. It's just how the cadence goes. But some people like to exaggerate it and go New Orleans, and it's like, oh gosh,
right, okay.
Oh dear.
So it's become a bit of a meme in that respect, then.
And Hannah says, "Yeah, I was gonna on Twitter. I was gonna say on Twitter when you made the bread, aren't you always on keto? Lol. At least always GF. Yes, I can't. Like I'm making all these lovely things, but I can't eat them because they make me very, very sick to my stomach.
Yeah, of course. I take issue with this though.
Why?
All this great stuff that you're baking, I haven't even got a single bit. I'm joking, obviously. It'll probably go mouldy by the time it actually arrives here, based on that Christmas present.
Man, I know. They say it's still in transit, by the way. So
that's absolute nonsense.
Maybe.
I mean, what about the one that I sent you then?
Yeah.
That's absolutely lost to all, all time.
For our viewers, because we're not recording yet, don't send things to Northern Ireland, I guess.
Yeah, I sent that.
Via Royal Mail.
I think, when was it? The first or the second week of December?
Yeah, you're always really, really good about it. It's me that's always like late and stuff.
I know. So we obviously sent things like either way.
Mm-hmm.
My one hasn't arrived to you.
Nope.
Your one hasn't arrived to me either.
Nope.
So you were even joking beforehand, saying it'll probably arrive for your birthday.
By your birthday, because they gave me credit, and so I threw a little smaller gift in there, and I was like, it'll be for your birthday, and I was like, it'll probably arrive by the time your birthday's around, and I was like, no way, and then here we are.
Yeah. Oh, I love the fact I've just noticed that you've just called this on Twitch, "Da News" with a Z. Brilliant. Yep.
The news
like how you did last week was Nintendi.
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully, we shouldn't have any. Well, on my side anyway, we shouldn't have any stream problems or weird hiccups like I've had in the last few weeks.
I was gonna say I can't promise anything.
I understood every part of that.
I said I can't promise anything.
I know, which is also quite worrying when you host streams.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, so I'm going to try and work on that anyway, but hopefully, in the future, I say hopefully, in the future it might be the case that I do.
Look, this is how a slow day is. Can we zoom in on that? Oh, no.
Go on, how slow is slow?
Is it saying, oh yeah, it's upside down. I have a total of 407 steps. And it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Is that 407 steps from your bed to the kitchen to then down to your cave?
To the bathroom, to the window, to the wall.
To the window.
To the wall.
To the wall. Yeah, I knew what you meant. I'm trying to avoid it.
And then, down here. Which I do have rowing to do later. Actually, you know what? I might put the rowing off, which I'm going to get in a lot of trouble because I did put it off a lot this week.
Yeah, I was going to say, you put it off Thursday.
I did.
Definitely might not be able to get away with that one.
I'm a little bit behind. But I got to catch up on not Witch Queen, but I got to catch up on Beyond Light before Witch Queen drops. And then I need
to... 2 days, right?
Yep.
Damn.
And the thing is, and I'm kind of thinking if we should talk about this on the podcast.
We can do.
Yeah. Remember that. I want to talk about that.
What? Destiny?
Destiny.
I'll put it in the dock at the very end then. So put it into yours as well.
I'm scared to open it.
Oh, yeah. Good point. This is why I should be hosting the streams from now on.
Yeah,
because I might actually
be able to...
yeah.
Well,
We'll get.
we'll have to.
How about we do this right next Friday,
Yeah.
or this coming Friday? We'll do our planning and we'll sit down actually in front of the computer so you can set me up with OBS and
Okay.
all of that, because I haven't got a clue how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like with this new machine I've got, the streaming is very, very capable.
Yes.
And I want to actually start doing it properly.
Yeah.
So that'll be a good introduction into how to actually set a stream up.
Yeah. That'll be good. Okay. Let's get the show started. We're in 112, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because you can't actually bring your document over.
Nope.
No, it's fine. Also, obviously, I'm not running backup recording, so we've got to be very careful with this.
Oh, right. Okay.
I know. So just do not do anything to anger your computer, like how I used to have to.
The computer gods.
Yes, because I obviously mentioned to you afterwards, but I didn't tell anyone else. But that backup recording from the episode the Gadget was on, and Brent was on, went wrong.
Oh,
halfway through.
No. Oh, that's right.
Not even halfway through. It was like 30 minutes of an hour and a half podcast.
Oh, you know what? We didn't archive that on YouTube's. YouTube's.
Did we not?
Nope. We need to. I think it expires today.
I think it might be gone, but if
Oh,
it hasn't,
right.
then I'll try and do what I can with it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do this.
Yeah, I was just looking around to see if there was anything else I could do. Anyway, that's fine. I was just seeing if there was a way of backup recording without it sounding like a nonsense. But anyway, let's move on.
Okay.
Do you want me to do the usual?
You.
Okay. And I'll try not to make you laugh beforehand because I know how much of a pain it is, of course.
Yes, as you now know.
Yes, well, trust me, I will not do the exaggerated Wayne's World point like I've done in the past. Even though it is funny.
It is funny.
Yeah. Right. Well, we'll start the show in 3, 2.
Welcome to Rabbit Reviews Radio Podcast, episode 112. I said that funny. I said podcast.
I didn't even notice.
Oh, I did. It came out of my mouth weird.
Excellent.
I am your co-host, Kiley Wilde, and I am joined by my ever-present co-host, Pete Beckett.
No.
So, Pete, let's just get this show started. How has your week been?
It's been mad, to say the least. It's been all over the place. Work has been a bit mental.
Right.
I got an award from work for volunteering myself to help new people.
That's awesome.
Not complaining that, but it is the dawn of the new beginning in terms of this podcast.
Oh yes.
I own a new computer. I have a new webcam and acquired a keyboard. So hopefully, fingers crossed, unless Kylie computer craps the bed, we should have a pretty stable podcast off the time. Fingers crossed. Because before it used to be a problem.
Yes.
I used to have to pop my video out and leave the document open, leave the recording program open, and not touch anything.
Yep.
Now I can muck around and do things whilst I'm
recording.
recording.
Now you can touch everything.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Yes.
But yeah, it's been because of that. Obviously, like the last few days, I've been setting this thing up, and I'm not joking. It took me 3 hours to factory reset my old computer, it's stupid.
That's crazy. That is ridiculous.
I know, because I messaged you. I was like, can you help me test my new computer? And then I messaged you an hour and a half later. I went, that's not happening today.
Yeah, let's do this tomorrow. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was fine, though, because I just had Community on in the background and just watching that whilst I wasn't just staring at the computer, just doing its thing.
Pete has discovered Community, which both
not
Kieran
discovered.
and
I was recommended it by Kieran, by you, by Modern Escapism, So I finally took the plunge and watched it, and I'm about halfway through season 2 now.
And you love it.
It's been less than a week.
Yeah. Have you got to the KFC episode yet?
Oh, that's hilarious. It's so funny.
So good.
I'm now up to the animated Christmas special.
There you go. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the stop motion. Well, I started watching it. I was like, I'm not watching it on my phone. This requires a full screen.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm gonna watch that a bit later on. So that's now gonna be my Sunday night. Is just watching the heck out of Community.
That's awesome. That's excellent.
Anyway, how's your week been? Because mine's been crazy, obviously, as we know.
Well, mine's crazy in a different way. Crazy like a fox. I have a huge leak in my.
There you go. I got my revenge. That's fine.
Yes, you're a Vingy. But no, it was. It's from the bathroom, but underneath the bathroom is my workroom, my giant workroom for my business.
No.
Yeah, and it's all right. I can still work in it, but just like half my workroom is blocked off.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of what I work with, inks and various printing things, it's very sensitive to water.
Who would have thought electric would have been sensitive to water?
I know, it's shocking.
Wow.
Literally shocking. But...
Oh my god. That's a type matchup I never wanted to know about. Good old Pokemon references.
Pokemon.
That's thrown you right off now.
It has. But anyway, it seems like there's something else. I don't remember. I'm like up and down like crazy this week.
Yeah.
I'm baking bread, and I don't know why.
I mean, you can't eat bread. I don't
can't
know
eat
why
it.
you're baking it, but I guess it's nice for other people.
Yeah, I just give it away, and I'm like, here, have some bread. And people are like, oh, okay. I'm like, I promise it's not poisoned. And
Look,
then
there is
they're like,
nothing... Now, as someone who once worked somewhere where freshly baked bread in the morning was a thing, there is no better smell in the world than a freshly baked loaf of bread. So I am envious.
I freaking love it, which is why I also, alongside normal bread, I bake a gluten-free version. But see, gluten-free version is not as fun to make because, it's a whole different set of ingredients, and you can't really knead gluten-free stuff because there's no gluten, and, kneading and gluten
kind of
go
point,
hand in hand. Exactly. Anyway, that's boring.
Welcome to
that was
today's
it.
Foodcast.
No, I remember what I was going to talk about. Destiny.
Oh, yes.
So,
of course, I even put it on my document.
I know,
to
exactly.
mention it.
I just, blanked out. Witch Queen, which is the next expansion of Destiny, starts on Tuesday, I think. It's the 22nd, which I think is Tuesday.
Yes.
So, I've been spending this week grinding like frick.
Why are we both in that same way today that anytime anything comes up?
Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, so I've been grinding like frick, trying to catch up on stuff. And the thing is, I'm never going to catch up on it. And, I'm really, really disappointed because there was a quest I wanted to do. I think it's called Prestige or something. And you get an exotic at the end of it. And they're vaulting that exotic. And it's like,
why?
This is why you need friends, people. You can't solo everything, even though I try.
Public service announcement. Have Destiny friends.
Have any friends.
Just Destiny friends. Who cares about the rest of them?
Right, okay. But having said that, I'm still looking forward to it. Although I am not... Okay, this should not bother me. What I'm about to say is dumb and stupid and shouldn't bother me, but it does. So, this was my first season of Destiny, this whole expansion, Beyond Light.
Oh.
And I've only had the Titan, and I've just that's my main, and that's the one I've really worked hard at. So, we started at the same time. I think we were at 1060 or 1100 or something like that was our starting level. Maybe it was...
I want to say it was 1100 or something along those lines.
Or 1250. I don't even remember. All I know is it was nothing, and I have worked my booty off to get myself up to 1329, which is the cap is 1330. Without the bonus. The bonus adds more to it. So I'm at 1351. Well, when Season of the Witch starts, they are starting everyone, newbies and experience, at 1350.
Screw them.
And that shouldn't bother me. Like, that's really dumb because that gets more people playing, and I want that, and because maybe one day I'll make a friend and we can play Destiny together. But at the same time, I'm also bothered by it because now I gotta be the same as everyone, even though I put all that work and time into it. So I don't know where I'm at with it. I have to think on that.
So basically what you're saying is if I decide that I want to start playing Destiny again as of Tuesday, I'll be at 1350.
Same as me.
And all those hours that I spent trying to grind up to 1300 and gave up were all in vain.
Yes.
What a waste of my time.
Yeah. Well, think of it from my point of view. I'm at 1329.
Oh, I know.
And, but the thing is, I say that, but on the other hand, I like Destiny, I like the story, I like the characters, so, I'm still gonna keep playing.
Of course, and that's where...
I'm gonna be angry while playing.
Yeah, I think that's where me and you differ, is that eventually I sort of just dropped off because I didn't have the time for the meta of Destiny. I liked the story, but I wasn't enamoured with it.
Right.
And the general grind of it was more than enough to put me off.
Right.
I've made no bones about the fact that I barely get time to play games as is anyway.
Yeah, which I think is valid.
I don't want to be spending my time catching up on loads of quests that I've missed out on. And it feels like, yeah, you could get around playing like a couple of hours every week, but you're going to miss out on so many things.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think to really get Destiny, it has to be a true commitment. But then once you get through the season or the battle pass or whatever, it just kind of drops off and there's really nothing to do. So it's like hardcore, lots of time in the beginning, and then you just poof,
Yeah.
towards the end. Unlike Halo. Wait, we're going to talk about that, aren't we?
Not exactly the game.
Oh, okay. So Halo's done their supposed, what do they call it? Timeline? Yeah, but it's like their plans for...
Oh, the roadmap.
Roadmap, that's the word. And I'm just sorry, but I am a hardcore former Halo fangirl. And I want Halo to do well. But they got a lot to learn. 343 does. I don't know how they're going to retain players.
It doesn't look like they're trying to retain players. It more looks like they're trying to bring people back in when content's added.
I mean, you can hope so, but there's 3 different maps. 3 different game style plays, whatever. Modes.
Game modes.
Maybe is what I mean. And then, for me personally, none of the cosmetics are worth it, except for sometimes they have like a Hayabusa, their version of Hayabusa armor, which I have always loved. The ODST armor sometimes makes an appearance, but overall, the cosmetics are very boring and not very, I don't know.
The samurai armor for that event was actually excellent, to be fair.
Yeah, that's the Hayabusa knockoff.
Oh, okay, yeah. Fair enough.
And then, so I don't know how Halo's gonna do this. I want them to do well. I am cheering them on in the background.
Yep.
But I am not confident at all. But I like to be proven wrong, so hopefully they'll prove me wrong.
No, I want to be proven wrong as well, because I think the roadmap is kind of terrible as well.
It was not a good...
It probably could have afforded having another 6 months in the oven just to add a few more bits in terms of the content, but clearly Microsoft couldn't afford to have that.
Yeah.
So I understand the reasoning behind it. It's just not having Forge like straight away was not a great move.
It's
And
not.
based on what I've seen as well, and I've seen a lot of people now very worried that they're going to charge for Forge, and I am
Yeah.
now very concerned by that too.
And I don't think they'll charge for Forge, like, overall, but they'll probably charge for assets, and I'm like, I'm out. I'm out.
Well, that's what I
I'm
was
out.
seeing in this Twitter thread, and then you've got diehard Halo fans defending it, and I'm like,
No.
oh, it's cosmetics. They've said it's cosmetics. Well, when has when has a video game like developer taken on their word? Hardly ever. Like,
Yeah.
because they move the goalposts all the time.
Plus, well, I mean, like, one of my favorite things to do, back in the day, in Forge was I love to make my friends maps, and
Yeah.
I would put Easter eggs in it, or I would just make them like ridiculously difficult, or give like terrible crappy weapons, and then like one really good weapon at the very 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 tip top of a building, and that sort of thing, or make it where you get stuck in a man cannon and can't get out because it just anyway. Trolling. I like to troll my friends.
Clearly.
Yes. But this Forge doesn't. I don't know. It's not feeling. I don't know. Maybe I've just gotten older, and I'm past. Like I've outgrown Halo, which hurts to say, but maybe I have outgrown Halo.
To be fair,
Yeah.
it does happen with games eventually. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if if a series goes on for quite a long period of time and doesn't look like it's moving forward, only rekindling what was once there,
Mm-hmm.
then there's like it's not going to show much progression, and people want progression, obviously. And in terms like, and I mean that twofold, like they want progression in terms of mechanics, like graphics, like gameplay style, and progression in terms of the battle pass in this instance.
Right. I mean.
And they're not, and they've screwed. It looks like whilst Halo Infinite is mostly a good game, it's incomplete again
Yeah.
still, and it's just. I went back and played it like over the week, and I played a few games, and I'm just like, yeah, Tactical Slayer's amazing fun, and I
That's
love
fun. I like that. Yeah.
But every other mode, I'm not interested in playing now,
No.
and even to the point where Kieran is like still like at times messaging going, please play a campaign. I've got no interest in continuing it, to be honest, because I'm like, this isn't doing it for me at all.
I think the campaign was a good, I hate to say this, but a good goodbye almost for me.
Yeah.
I think that's why
because you enjoyed what you played, didn't you?
I did. I'm still not the biggest fan of Weapon, or the Weapon, or however she's called.
Not Cortana.
Yeah, not Cortana as I call her.
Well, that's just how I'm using it now. It's
Yeah.
not Cortana.
And but I did give it the whole thing a chance, and I mean it compelled me enough that I played a 10-hour campaign straight through.
Yeah.
But
clearly, it didn't do it for me.
right. But I think that's because I have so many ties to the Halo universe, which is actually a good segue if you want to.
Yes.
Move on to the news.
Yep. So this, so we're basically doing a news episode this week,
Yo.
and I picked out 3 short stories or shorter stories. May just require a bit more discussion, but then there are a couple of larger stories.
Yo.
Anyway, let's power right on through to this.
Yo.
Coming from IGN, Halo TV show will reveal Master Chief's face. It's a moment 20 years in the making. I looked at this and I went, uh-oh.
I have a lot to say about this, but Pete,
Yeah, so let me read part of the article anyway. So, the upcoming Halo TV show will reveal Master Chief's face for the first time in the history of the franchise. Talking to Ryan McCaffrey as part of IGN FanFest, Halo executive producer and 343 Industries studio head of transmedia, Iki Wolfkill, that's an awesome name, said that showing the Chief's face was important for the story. The story the show will tell. Okay, that was badly worded, sentence. I think we set out to tell a character story and a personal story, she explained. once we really got into what that story was, it became clear that you really need to see the person in the armor and under the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to turn around and say, no, you don't. But that's my thoughts on the matter, and we'll get to more of those in a bit, I guess. So,
Yeah.
you will see his face, she confirmed. For some people, it's a moment 20 years in the making, and for other people, it is something that feels very hard to imagine. We absolutely respect both sides of that fence, those who really want to see Chief's face and those who really don't. But for the nature of this story, it felt really important to connect with the Master Chief in a different way, and that meant showing the face. So Halo will premiere on March 24th on Paramount Plus. It has now actually been confirmed that Paramount Plus is coming to the UK in August, I think. So those who were, like myself, who were screaming into the void saying, how the hell are we going to watch this? They finally confirmed that we are able to watch this 4 months after the fact.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
It's like Game of Thrones in the beginning.
Yeah, but like in this age of content where like everything is available at Hasbro, they shouldn't have things like this still. Like this whole, oh yeah, you're going to get this season 6 months after America.
Yeah.
I used to hate those. Honestly, it used to wind me up.
Yeah.
So, as our resident Halo fan here,
so
let's talk. I want to know your opinion because this has been bugging me since I saw it.
I'm gonna present both sides, but I'm gonna talk about my reasons first. Why I don't want them to show his face, because Master Chief. I mean. Yes, it is assumed he's male from the beginning, from the get-go. And then remember, I'm a person, this is for our audience, I'm a person who's read the books. I have the graphic novels.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's in the other room. I was going to
whip
it out.
You were going to do one of those moments that you see YouTubers do all the time. It's like, hang on a minute. There it is.
Exactly. But it's upstairs in my display bookcase. But point being, so what I'm saying is you know, I get it. I'm very lore, and you know, I know the lore.
Focus.
Thank you. But mostly the appeal of the games of having a nearly silent protagonist, which Chief he straddles the border on. I'd say in his later games, he's not really a silent protagonist, but in the beginning...
I was going to say, the dialogue that you usually have with Chief are usually punchy one-liners in most occasions.
So that meant that you could project onto him whoever you wanted him to be. That's the whole appeal of the first... I would say the first 3 Halos, but I know the first one, and then they really pushed it in the second one. That meant that if you were a kid... playing in, I don't know, just another country with, you know, a different nationality that isn't, you know, white male, you could project your image onto him, you know, if that's how you felt. Whereas for me, I never felt like Chief. I felt more like Cortana. Mm-hmm. But that meant that I could project into Chief whoever I wanted it to be, you know?
Yeah.
And that was a huge appeal in these games. It gave people who don't have representation a form of representation. Now, I have to admit, it's kind of a get out of jail free card for representation, as opposed to making a hero that is, you know, a minority of some description. But doesn't matter. People could still project, and Master Chief could be who they wanted it to be, or who they wanted him to be. But by the same time, so I am against Master Chief revealing his face. I've always been against it. I've been against it in the games, blah, blah. But here's the problem that we run into.
Sorry, can I just, I just want to bring up a point that I've quickly thought of, like, in terms of that argument before you move it on, was, it's the fact that, for me, like, I don't want to see his face. I've never wanted to see what Chief actually looks like. In the same reasons that you said, it could be a projection of anybody, and the mostly silent protagonist conveys that point. Also, it's a point that I'm just going to make, is that he's called John. John, it's basically, you could coin it as the John Everyman.
Yeah,
So it just proves further credence to your point there.
Yeah,
So I just wanted to mention that before you moved on.
Like John Doe, it's like...
Yeah.
Yeah, it is exactly the everyman. So, then we come to the television show. From my understanding, well, two points to that. One, it takes place outside of the core canon, is what I've read, which
That's what I have heard that, but I'm not sure how that works.
I don't either, but I'm gonna be on board with that.
I mean, you're gonna be on board with it because you finally get to watch a Halo TV series after all these years.
Yeah. But from what I understand, they're going back to like the novel Halo Reach, which means you see Chief as a kid, which it is a very compelling story. Growing up and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna see that he is a cis white male. I mean, there's no denying that. And then I looked up the actor that's playing him. It's a white guy with, I think, Latin heritage, possibly. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I want to say the actor's name is Pablo something.
Yeah.
It's not Pedro Pascal. Let's just
No. It is. I believe it is like Pablo. He looks like every East Texas dude I left back in East Texas. He's so generic looking.
Pablo Schreiber.
Okay.
Yeah, I just had to check. It was going to annoy me otherwise. Sorry.
Yeah. But then I thought, well, maybe that actually makes sense because what is the biggest employer of East Texas? Well, it's the military because, they want to appeal to the young guys. So everyone where I'm from has the kind of shaved head, and then they grow a beard because that's it. Not to say that him as Master Chief will grow a beard. He probably won't. But the point is being he looks like every generic guy in East Texas, white guy. Mm-hmm. And maybe that works because it kind of makes him an everyman, but then on the same token, he's just a white guy. It's just like there's nothing, there's no charisma, there's no mystique. It's just, which there's been arguments since Master Chief became a character in graphic novels and stuff, after Halo 1. People are quick to tell you, oh, well, I mean, he's just a petty officer. He's just a chief petty officer. He's not that important. He just happens to get very lucky, which comes into play later in Halo 3. There's nothing special about him. And I guess that's what they're trying to portray in the TV show, is that he's just a guy.
Okay.
Just a rando. I don't know. Maybe because I've had, my fascination / crush on Chief for so long. He's more than just a guy.
Yeah. I think that sort of shatters the expectation for you in some respects. But I get it, and I sort of do, but I sort of don't, and I'm just like...
I mean, they can't tell the story without taking off the helmet, but...
Yeah, but... some people would have said the same thing about the Mandalorian as well. You didn't need him to take the helmet off. That was the whole point.
That's
He could have been anybody.
That's a good point,
and you could have it going forward then, that you're not tied to just one actor. You're tied to multiple actors over the course of longevity. Yeah. So the minute you take the helmet off, you're going to see the actor. And therefore, anytime they change the actor, people aren't going to like it. Whereas if they decided not to, then the mystery is still there of who actually is playing it. Because you remember the whole thing about when The Force Awakens came out.
Sounded like you said
the Force... trying to... Sorry?
It sounded like you said The Force Wankers.
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to call it, but
But yes.
No, The Force Awakens, when all the stormtroopers were there and people were going, who is that? Who is that? And then we found out that one of them was Daniel Craig.
Right.
And it's that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit of that lip service, and that's what they could have done with this instead of going, yeah, we're telling a story that's within this universe and you're going to see Chief's face and you're going to ruin the hearts of pretty much every Halo fan that's ever played the games for the last 20 years.
I will say this, and then we can go to the next one if you want.
Yeah, and be careful not to bash your table again.
Oh, right. I will say this, that, look, here we go.
Yes, soapbox moment.
Oh my gosh. I am going in. I'm going to try to go in with no expectations. Not even low expectations, just no expectations. I will say that I'm very nervous about having a Chiefs helmet off. I don't understand. What?
Nothing.
Yes. But also, Cortana not being blue, that's like really bothersome.
Ridiculous.
That's really bothersome to me. And I know they said Jen Taylor was also Halsey, but the chick that she didn't look like Jen Taylor.
No.
Fingers crossed it is her.
I have no idea, but
yeah, it was weird, but it could just been the angle of the trailer or whatever.
Part of me does really hope they get Steve Downes to at least do the voice,
nope.
but I don't think they are.
They've already, he had to come out and confirm that they didn't. And I just, So I listened to this guy talk, this actor guy, this Pablo guy. It's low, but it's not Chief low. It's not Steve Downes low.
They might do some post-production on it to take it down to that level, but if you've got someone like Steve Downes who can already do it, why don't you just utilize him?
Yeah.
And it's the fact that it's like the same thing as when Metal Gear Solid 5 came out and they completely recast David Hayter to Kiefer Sutherland, and people kicked off.
I remember
because
that.
the character is iconic.
Yeah, it was the same thing for Thief. They did the same thing in Thief as well.
Yeah, they did when what was Thief, the Thief reboot, wasn't it? That came out on PS4.
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
Nuts.
Yeah, one of my friends who's a big PC gamer, when Thief came out, absolutely refused to buy it because of it.
A lot of people did, and I don't actually blame them for it. I mean, it seems small and petty probably to outsiders, but when you've developed a kind of love for a series, it's going to be a huge adjustment for me. And I don't think that's just because I'm autistic. I think that's anyone who has a love for a series. It's going to be an adjustment, but I'm still going to watch it.
I got it later on in the year. I have to have it later on in the year.
What do you
Mario movie and
yes.
Charles Martinet, so I'm gonna have to listen to Chris Pratt voicing Mario, and he's so cool, but no, he's not cool.
I don't know. I go back and forth with him.
I do as well, and I literally just make that joke every time that I can because it was so stupid hearing that in the director and just constantly saying he's so cool. Let's move on to a show that I have zero expectations about.
Right. Okay.
HBO has said The Last of Us show won't air in 2022.
Like
HBO, go on.
No, you go ahead. You finish that out.
I was going to say, so HBO has confirmed that its upcoming The Last of Us show won't be released this year. It's not going to air in 2022. They're still shooting in Canada. I'd imagine you will see it in 2023. HBO and HBO Max programming chief Casey Bloys? Well, that is a weird ass name. Told Deadline. I have seen some early episodes and I'm very excited. Of course you would say that.
Well, yeah, you're not going to say, oh, it's crap.
Yeah, imagine that, right? Oh, yeah, I work for HBO as the chief programming chief. I saw the first episode of The Last of Us. It was terrible. He teased. Craig did Chernobyl for us. He is a fantastic writer and director. What I've seen looks amazing, so I'm excited for it. But it won't be in 2022.
See, that's weird.
I'm not going on with this one because it's all just stuff about the background of the actual show itself. So that's covered the main part of the story. Must state that most of our stories have always come from VGC this week because VGC are very surprising in the fact that they're actually not too bad in terms of their writing, and they're not overly political either until they start talking about Bobby Kotick giving to Republicans, and I was just like, oh god.
No, my problem with that story wasn't that he gave to Republicans, because he should totally do that. It's that he made shell companies to do it, and I don't care what side you're on. That's gross.
Oh, I know. I know, but that wasn't in the headline when I saw it on BBC. It was just like, oh yeah, they've made this.
That must be why people were kicking off. I couldn't understand it. I was like, people kept being like, well, he should be able to be whatever political, and I'm like, well, yeah, but
Well, he can, but yeah.
but he made fake companies, and nobody was mentioning the fake companies. Now I know why.
Yeah,
because they didn't put it in the headline.
There you go. So, right, what do you think about this story? Not the Bobby Kotick.
No. We'd need a whole show for that, but
I don't think so. I think that's a trilogy in its own right.
Oh gosh.
Exactly.
I wonder if this has anything to do with the Mandalorian. I wonder. I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
Pedro, what's his name? Pascal.
Pedro Pascal.
I think he signed up. Signed up to do The Last of Us first, and then Mandalorian second. But it's Disney.
I think Disney have got their way, and
so I think they flexed.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, like we've, and I don't want to go into spoilers if you haven't obviously seen Book of Boba Fett. I probably will not mention it, but there is some sort of incorporation, and that's all I'll say.
Yeah, which makes me think. I wonder if this got tied up with Disney, because unless but they also could have redone the story, because when they signed on the chick from Game of Thrones, the young girl.
Oh, what is her name? I can't remember. What, to play Ellie?
Yeah. I think she was signed out. She must have been like 12 or 13.
Oh, is it Nico Parker?
I can't remember.
No, Bella Ramsey, sorry.
Okay. Because all I can remember is like her name's like Liliana on Game of Thrones.
Bella Ramsey, I believe.
I think she's like 12 or 13, maybe 14. Well, a year to 2 years for 14 to 16? That's a lot. That changes, physical changes happen. That is not going to be the same story. So, it's entirely possible that they had to rewrite the story for a more mature character.
Also, I'm going to make a comment here that might sound really stupid, but it might be poignant at the same time.
Right.
It says it's not going to air in 2022. They're still shooting in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
What's to say that they can't get into Canada at the moment?
Well, I mean, honestly, now it depends on what part of Canada.
I'm taking the mic more than anything. There is no way they're getting into Ottawa, is there?
No, they're probably in Vancouver, but that actually is...
More than likely, yeah.
But that actually brings up a good point. Canada has way different restrictions than the U.S. In terms of the whole COVID stuff. They've got a lot of border requirements, which is hence the trouble that's happening.
Well, yeah, they do. And it's also, I remember Edgar Wright mentioned something to do with this when he was shooting Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Oh, right.
They actually did want to shoot the scenes with Chris Evans, actually in New York, I believe.
Right.
But they had to shoot it there because it was cheaper and there was less regulations and all that sort of thing. So they had the New York skyline in the background as a joke, and he goes through it. So that's why they had that joke in there.
Yeah. But I mean that does kind of speak to, all the different restrictions and stuff. I bet filming it probably actually does have a lot more to do with it than we realize.
I think it probably does.
So not a stupid point.
No, it was more trolling than anything, to be honest. But I know that there has obviously been some setbacks in terms of some movies with certain people, let's say. And I'm not mentioning names, but I know Black Panther 2 may be delayed because there is a certain actor who is not vaccinated and can't get an insurance policy because of it.
Yeah.
So it's a bit strange, really, in terms of shooting everything. And bearing in mind Black Panther 2 is supposed to be out this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will say that the attitudes of UK versus the attitudes of the US and the attitudes of Canadians, it's very weird for me to watch.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to mention anything.
No, we won't talk about
Trudeau being a.
We won't get into any of the politics
of
it.
We try to stay apolitical if we can.
We do very much, but I will say that you can't help but, if you're an outside observer, much like myself, see the differences in between the cultures.
Yeah.
But let's go to the next story.
But what?
But let's move on to the next story.
Yeah, okay. So, just quickly, have you got any excitement at least for this, but being the fact that you have played the first?
I did when it was very first announced. I was very excited. I was a little less so when it was Pablo Pascal, who I did love in Game of Thrones. Absolutely adored him.
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, Pedro. I'm not good at names.
No, I'm surprised you even get my name right every week.
Oh, you know, I have to think before I say that last name. But what was I saying? Oh, but then when I found out that he was going to be Joel, I was less excited.
From what I've seen of The Mandalorian, I don't think he's that great of an actor.
He's a good actor, depending on the role, but he doesn't, which is going to be weird, especially if you've seen The Mandalorian. He doesn't have a kind of fatherly feel, whereas Joel has this very nurturing father. I know he's...
The whole point of it is that he is basically a surrogate father.
Yeah, and I know that The Mandalorian is kind of weirdly roundabout kind of the same way, but it's not, because his character's not very nurturing, whereas Joel is very fatherly, paternal, and stuff like that. So that made me nervous. But I'm less excited. And now that time's gone by and The Last of Us Part 2 came out, which I do not like, I'm less excited.
I need to see whether or not the first Last of Us is on the PS Plus collection, because I should play it, really.
You should. Take it in bits and pieces. Yeah.
Especially on that box behind me. I could definitely play it on that. So, moving on, let's talk about another movie, because short stories to do with movies and TV for some reason. A third Sonic movie and a live-action series are confirmed by Paramount. The series will focus on Knuckles, as played by Idris Elba. This is based on the fact that the second still hasn't even come out yet.
Yeah, that's my thing. That's my thing. I mean...
Anyway, let me just read through the story and then we'll talk about it. So, Paramount Pictures and Sega have announced, and this was obviously a few days ago on the 16th, that a third Sonic movie and a live-action TV series have entered production. The TV series, which is planned for Paramount's streaming service, Paramount Plus, will seemingly focus on Knuckles, as played by Idris Elba, who makes his debut in the upcoming Sonic the Hedgehog 2. In a statement, the company said Paramount Pictures and Sega Corporation today announced that they have commenced development on a third feature film installment to the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. Additionally, Sega and Paramount Plus are developing the first ever original live-action Sonic series to launch in 2023. Paramount Plus series will feature the character Knuckles. I'm not going to say he's voiced by Idris Elba because, well, we already know that.
Yes.
The rest is basically just says that, how much of a success the first one was, and the sequel's coming out in April 8th. Please go and see it.
Yeah.
And that was just my addendum at the end. Please go and see it.
Yes. Yeah, because actually, Pete, you watched it because it was on your birthday, wasn't it? Last year.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah.
Came out on my birthday of 2020. So, I mean, if last week hadn't already given away when my birthday was, then, definitely have now.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the first movie. Like, I know there's a lot of hate for it now for some reason, and I can understand. I say for some reason. I know why it is, because people didn't like the fact that it became basically a buddy cop, road trip movie. And I know Nana is very much in the chat. He's probably going to say that.
Yeah.
Because I know his opinion on that was very similar. I just like the fact that they got the feel of the character right, which was something that I was always worried about. Jim Carrey was pulling out all the performances as a very early Dr. Robotnik, let's say.
Yeah.
And it was surprising, considering all the stuff that had happened before that, and with me having zero expectations going into it, thinking it was going to be a train wreck. In fact, I even said to you multiple times before this, I'm literally going to watch this because I think it's going to be an absolute disaster.
Yep.
And came out very pleasantly surprised. So, I don't think I can have this with the second movie now.
Right.
Which is going to be a bit weirder because, well, let's be honest, it's a Sonic movie. And the stories of the Sonic games aren't exactly good.
Okay, well, see, we'll also get to Nana's comment. That's my thing is, how do you? There's not a lot of lore there.
Oh, there's no, there's a ton. There's
Well,
an absolute butt ton of lore stuff there.
I mean, on the main one, you're right. There are a lot of like Sonic Knights and Sonic Tails and Sonic the Werehog. You know, all of those things.
Oh yeah, we don't talk about the werehog.
Yes.
Let's just leave that alone. We also don't talk about that horrible time in 06. And that's actually a joke from the movie title.
Oh, is it really? Oh, that's great. Very good.
But yeah, it's just I'm just literally looking at this VGC article and I can see the most aggressive picture of Knuckles and it looks actually awesome to be fair.
Well, see, okay, that's what I wanted to talk about, and then we will totally read.
Yeah, let me just say that Knuckles was always one of my favourite characters when he was introduced in 3.
Oh, yeah,
I always liked the fact that he was an antagonist and then sort of had this heel switch like most of the way through. Then you obviously had Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic and Knuckles is like
that's
I know
the one
people
I
are like massively like weird about that game because I know loads of people are just like, yeah, it's Sonic 3 Part 2 and they split it up for reasons and yeah, commercial side and all of that. Sonic and Knuckles is an amazingly good game.
It's one of my favorites of the whole Sonic series.
Sonic 3 and Knuckles as a collection is absolutely
that's what I had was the collection. Yes.
Yeah.
I also hate Tails. But I do look forward to seeing I guess and hearing their take on Knuckles and seeing how that is because it is such a cool character.
And it is a cool actor in Idris Elba.
Oh yeah, you can't beat he's amazing in anything he's in.
The fact of the matter is that recently he's been taking a lot more turns as villains, which I really like.
Well, he's good at it.
Yeah, I mean, he was in Hobbs and Shaw, and Hobbs and Shaw wasn't very good, but he was an all right part of it.
It is weird that
and then
Hobbs
obviously
and Shaw
he was in Suicide Squad, which is, I mean, they're not exactly heroic characters,
nope.
are they?
No,
I can't remember the name of the character he played, but he was a good part of it at least.
Yeah. Do you want to read Ned's comment?
Yes, I do. I don't know if this has anything to do. It says, yeah, this always peed me off to no end because, goddamn. And he says, like Sonic Movie 2 does look better, thank God. But man, they're putting a lot of chips on the table too soon. I 100% agree because if the second film is not exactly well received, yeah, they've already sunk budget into a third movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And a TV series.
Yeah, that's gonna be weird. Like, it
is, but they obviously
is Jim
need to do
Carrey
something
gonna be part of that?
I don't know because I think what they're looking at, and I can only imagine it's gonna be an origin series about Knuckles. Because they won't tackle it in the first movie. Or tackle it in the second movie. Right. We had a minor glimpse of the echidnas in the first movie, but they were very loose. Like, there wasn't much to do with them there. And it looks like what's going to happen here is that I think Robotnik has found Knuckles somewhere in this mushroom planet that he's on and going to bring him over to help him.
Yeah, and
kind of like the same thing that happens in Sonic 3.
Yeah.
Because this is exactly what is happening throughout this trailer. Everything that has happened is basically a mirror of Sonic 3, the game.
Yeah. Well, did you see the leaked image of Jim Carrey where he is definitely Eggman?
Yes.
It's awesome.
Well, yeah, he had the glimpse in the post-credit sequence at the end of the first movie where he's got the huge, he's bald, huge mustache and all of that.
Yeah.
But now, the recent teaser that they put out, the 30-second teaser, we got the goddamn death egg for Christ's sake. So
he's really going all out. I love that. I think that's great. It's really good.
I'm looking forward to it, but with mildly trepidous again.
Yeah.
Let's say. But
yeah.
I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it. So I'll report back after April 8th.
Yes.
Go night of release. Oh wait, no, I can't. Yes, I can. Sorry. No, I can't. Yes, I can. No, I can. Yes, I can, actually, because I'm off work.
All right.
No, I'll tell you the reason why afterwards.
Okay.
I think you already know anyway.
Yes.
Well, fans of Rapid Reviews should probably look out for a certain article that comes out around about the April time about a certain convention that I might not be visiting.
Yeah.
Or a podcast episode. Anyway, moving on. We'll go on to the to the bigger stories, shall we?
The biggins.
I'm just gonna touch on this one first because
Of course you are.
haha, yeah, I know.
Touch on the biggins, Pete.
Yeah, this one wasn't actually included as part of the document,
okay.
but I want to drop this in because why the hell wouldn't I mention this?
Okay.
The director has a plot in mind for a sequel. I'm not mentioning the headline because I just want to read the article. Jesus, Japanese names.
Yeah.
Chiro Fujioka? Fujioka. We're just going to go with Fujioka.
Okay.
The director of said game, or not said game yet,
Mm-hmm.
has said that he'd like his final game to be another Mario RPG if possible.
Oh, right. Yeah, I did see that headline, actually.
And I wondered whether or not this is a nothing story. But I think this is huge, actually.
Right?
So, speaking to the YouTube channel MinMax and transcribed by Nintendo Life, Fujioka discussed his career so far and the development of Super Mario RPG. If people do not know, Fujioka then went on to Alpha Dream, I believe, to then create the Mario and Luigi series.
Right.
So, when asked by host Ben Hansen if he was eager to get your hands on Mario RPG again at some point in your career, Fujioka said, "Yes, I would absolutely love to make one. Yeah, so in my career, I've been involved in a lot of games, and I would really like my final one to be another Mario RPG game, if possible." He later elaborated, however, he didn't reveal any plot details about his theorized sequel. "I'd like to go back and create Mario RPG, different from Mario and Luigi, where you're only controlling Mario."
Oh. That'd be a weird RPG, but okay.
But that's what Mario RPG is.
I-
So Mario
It's been
RPG
so
is
long
very
since I
much.
played it.
Yeah, I mean, I familiarized myself with this one by booting it up again and playing
Yeah?
it for a few minutes whilst I was
Just
testing my computer out.
Exactly the same way I played it.
So, so I literally got to the point where Smithy has taken over Bowser's castle and you're thrown into Mario's home.
Right, okay.
So very, very early, obviously. Jesus, like just hearing the music, seeing the visuals again, and I'll be the first to admit that like I have the soundtrack on my phone and I listen to this on a regular basis.
Yeah.
It is one of my favorite soundtracks of all time, and probably one of my favorite Mario games of all time.
So is it?
And I want a sequel so badly.
I know you do. Yeah, a lot of people do. I wouldn't mind. I enjoyed it very much. But is it Paper Mario where you control your whole team then?
No, Paper Mario is Paper Mario originally started development as a Super Mario RPG 2.
Right.
Obviously, then Square had the falling out with Nintendo based on the N64's power, and they could not get Final Fantasy VII working on an N64 cartridge, so moved over to PlayStation.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So they changed the name of it, but yeah, Paper Mario, you control Mario himself, but you do have certain control of party members.
Right. Okay.
But they're
I
only
just can't
sort of
remember.
like passing skills.
Yeah.
So see, I think it was. I'm just gonna go by Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, which is the game I'm most familiar with.
Yeah.
Where you'd have the Koopa Trooper, where you can use him to sort of hit blocks across a gap because he could spin over it and hit them.
Right. Okay. Okay.
You also had Man Flurry, who had like a massive gust of wind that could be used to take parts of the environment off.
I don't remember that.
And Mrs. Mouse, who was an excellent thief.
Yes. Yeah. I just thought I remembered one of them being a turn-based type thing, but.
It was Mario and Luigi.
Oh, okay. It's just been so long.
So with Mario and Luigi, like how it was on the GBA with Superstar Saga, A controlled Mario and B controlled Luigi.
Right.
So you would do platforming sections where you'd have to press A then B to get them up to certain planes. You would have partner skills as well. So that's probably what you're thinking.
That's probably I'm conflating all of them because I was playing all of them at the same time anyway. It was that era.
Yeah, because Paper Mario came out in the N64, and that was out like there for a while, and then you had Superstar Saga for years afterwards on the GBA.
Yeah, I was gonna say, mostly I played a ton. Like, almost all my Nintendo experience was on the GBA.
Mm.
That would
Yeah, it
probably
was
be
for a
my
lot of
main.
people as well.
Yeah.
And I think around about that time as well is when they had to get the GBA player on the GameCube as well. So you
Mm-hmm.
probably would have been
Oh,
able to play
yes.
Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door and then played the Superstar Saga.
Yeah. Yeah, because I didn't play much on the 64. I didn't play much of anything on the 64.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't done the expansion pass, because whilst my brother owned an N64 and I played a few games through that, I had the PlayStation and I was more
Yeah,
enamored
that's
with
what I
that, to
had.
be honest.
My nephews had the N64. I had the PlayStation. I was absolutely obsessed. I had the
Yeah.
Dreamcast and the PlayStation.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, like, there were some great games on the 64, but Paper Mario was one that I never experienced at the time. Went back and played it after
Mm-hmm.
Thousand Year Door, and it's a good game. It's a very good game, in fact, but it's just not Mario RPG.
Right.
And that sort of was just like, So, yeah, to finally actually hear some acknowledgement from someone who worked on the original game to go, yeah,
Yeah.
we really want to work on this again, was sort of like, I'm just trying to think. So you know that GIF that came out a while ago after Endgame came out with Hawkeye.
Oh yes.
That says "Don't
Don't
give me
get me
hope."
hope. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I literally was just like, "Don't, just
Yep.
don't," because the minute this news came out, I put the soundtrack on again, and I went,
Oh
"I've got
my
hope again."
gosh.
No.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's not good. I know that Square won't ever acknowledge this game ever again,
No.
um, but if you want to hear more thoughts about that, go check out my episode on What the Frick Do You Want, where I talked about it.
It's true.
Bit of cross promotion there, but yeah,
Yeah.
I did mention to Deadbeat on that episode as well
Mm-hmm.
that if we ever saw Mario RPG come into the SNES online service, I think it would give more hope to the fact that there would be a sequel,
Mm-hmm.
and this is just another one of those situations where I think I might be right eventually.
It could be. Could be.
Well, the relationship between Square Enix and Nintendo are very, very strong again, with publishing a lot of the HD 2D games
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. I think it's probably the best opportunity that we've had in a long time to get an actual direct sequel to this, and it could happen, but I'm not. I don't want to hold out hope.
Right.
But this story gave me hope, and hope's a bad thing to have sometimes.
I hate to agree with you, but it's true. Do you want to catch up on the Nana's
Let me have a little
posties?
Let's see.
Chatties.
So Nana's also put. I also think it was did pretty well because of the big sick. I don't know. Like Black Widow would have made more than it for sure. Anyway, he said, I thought EGX was cancelled, at least in Birmingham. Oh, EGX has been cancelled in Birmingham, but that doesn't mean that WASD isn't happening in April.
Yes.
In London. So Nana, if you're in the area, go and get a ticket and go and come say hello.
Yep.
He then said, I still need to play Mario RPG. I can help you with that. I'm sure I can help you with that if you want to. I will talk to you about it after the podcast if you want.
There you go.
But if you want to play it in terms of an actual proper method, go get a Wii U. Oh wait, the next story might debunk that.
Yep.
Maybe I'll get it at some point. Yoko Shimomura did the soundtrack, so it's bound to be good. No, it's not bound to be good. It's bound to be amazing. Sorry, I know that. He's a massive fan of
I was
Yoko
going to
Shimomura
say, yeah.
as well, so I...
Yeah.
No, the soundtrack is absolutely superb. It's, without probably tooting the horn of Street Fighter 2, it's probably one of her best soundtracks. Like, I like the Kingdom Hearts soundtracks, but I'm not familiar enough with the games as well, so I'm always going to default to Street Fighter 2 and Mario RPG as my favourites for her. So, anyway, moving on. Nintendo is officially ceasing 3DS and Wii U eShop purchases. Yeah, so that legal method that you might be able to play it means, oh dear. So users will no longer be able to purchase digital games from March 2023. So Nintendo this week announced that it will cease digital game purchases on Wii U and 3DS systems in March 2023. From that date onwards, it will no longer be possible to make purchases in the Nintendo eShop for either system or download free content, including game demos. According to Nintendo, after late March 2023 and for the foreseeable future, it will still be possible to re-download games and DLC, receive software updates, and play online on Wii U and 3DS. This comes from this is a comment from the company. It says this is part of the natural life cycle of any product line, as it has become less used by consumers over time. We are providing this notice more than a year in advance of the end of the purchases, so users will have plenty of time to prepare. The closure means that many digital-only Wii U and 3DS games will essentially disappear from next year unless users have already purchased them. I think there was an actual update to this story of some point saying that you won't be able to add funds to the
Right.
Wii U and 3DS eShops after after
Yeah.
May this year. So I don't know how you're going to be able to purchase it. I think it was also said that there'll be like a shared wallet between your Nintendo account that you'd be able to use, which all seems a little bit stupid to me.
Yeah.
So I just want to preface this by saying, yes, I'm a Nintendo fan. Yes, I like the Wii U and I like the 3DS. And I am not. I am a bit more in terms of a fanboy, let's say, in this instance. But that doesn't mean I don't criticize Nintendo. And this move is unbelievably stupid. And bearing in mind that Microsoft have left the Xbox 360 shop open for a very, very long time and never closed it down, it just shows that you can still do it.
Yeah. Well, so what do you propose, that they just leave it up indefinitely?
I don't think so. I think this has just mostly come off the back of obviously Sony trying to temper the waters with the PS3, the PSP, and PS Vita stores being annexed, and seeing how they would gauge it. I think the Wii U one absolutely probably is best to annex it in some way, because the Wii U system has only sold 13 million units. It's a lot. It's a lot to still keep up based on that number of units. That probably still, let's be honest, most Wii U owners probably have Wii U in boxes now and don't even play the systems.
Right.
So I think some of this is just people on the internet just getting annoyed about something because the next controversy, let's say.
Yeah.
But I will admit it is like a dumb move to like remove all of these titles that were once digital only, and give you no other way to sort of be able to play them. It has a massive implication in terms of game preservation, for sure.
Which we've definitely touched on. But do you think that they will repackage them and make them available on the Switch shop?
They basically already are in some respects. You look at games like Mario Kart 8, where they made the deluxe version. They brought out various different games that were on the Wii U system in terms of Nintendo's first party output. There are some that they still haven't done yet. Even to the even Platinum did Wonderful 101, and brought that over. So that was one of the ones that people were just like, get that game over.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and they kickstarted it, which was utterly stupid as well. I do think that there are going to be some more games coming in between now and March 2023 that will be from the Wii U, and some of them might be eShop exclusive in that respect. I just don't think a lot of them will make it over, which is unfortunate.
Right. We've had a new person join the chat, Pete.
Hey, it's Dr. Virtual. Howdy, mate.
Previous guest.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
A long time ago, yeah.
Long time ago. We should be getting back on at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but good to see you, buddy. Yeah, so I think the 3DS eShop makes absolutely no sense in this one, because the 3DS is like 75 million units sold.
Right.
People still go on and download like loads of stuff on there, but I know people who still take their 3DS systems around. This makes no sense to me. I understand that obviously it costs a lot of money to keep a server open for that sort of thing, but
Mm-hmm.
I've never. This has always been the part of me that's always worried about the digital future, and this
Yeah,
to
you've.
me sort of came up earlier on today when I was
Mm-hmm.
having a mild disagreement with someone on Twitter about the fact that a Horizon Forbidden West collector's edition comes with a goddamn digital code, not even a physical game. This is ridiculous.
This is
This is utterly ridiculous.
for
Like,
our
what
listeners.
happened to physical games?
For our listeners and viewers, this is Pete's long-standing debate, I guess. He's long-standing position.
Bought a Series X just for the disc drive.
Yes.
I bought a PS5 disc version. God
And
damn it!
I, of course, am on the other side of this.
I don't want an all digital future.
Where I'm like, I want to put a chip in my head and just have all the digital stuff downloaded into my brain.
You will not Android me. I will not have that. If you can't put a disc in me, that's it. I'm done. And I think we have an episode title.
I think so. Okay, Detroit become human.
Exactly, that is the future I'm worried about. That is the real future I'm worried about. A future where David Cage predicts the future.
Oh gosh.
Exactly. If that comes true, then all hell will break loose, and everyone will start running down the street shouting Jason.
Or Sean, both of them.
I will keep making that joke as long as I live.
Yes, press X to Jason. Jason.
Anyway, what do you think about this? I know you're more digital side of things, but shutting down an actual store?
Well, for me, okay. For me, of course, I'm just going to have a completely different point of view because I am very, very into digital preservation and stuff like that. I think as long as they are offering the same content in the Switch shop, then there's no problem.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Like, if they were to port those games over to the Switch and actually have them available to purchase, I'd have no problem with this. But there will be like some third-party games there that companies will have no want to bring over, or games from companies that are now defunct.
Well, see, and then that's where I tend to, without incriminating myself, I tend to support the other people who have alternate means of acquiring games.
So what, you mean reverse engineers?
Yeah! I'm not against that.
No, neither am I, because it preserves the digital future in some respects. I mean, we already made mention of the fact, like, many years ago, in the previous story, for the longest period of time, Western audiences could. I mean, I say Western audiences, UK audiences could not play Mario RPG until the Wii version came out on the eShop.
That's so
or
weird
Virtual
to
Console,
me.
whatever.
But, yeah,
I mean, you guys had the NTSC card, you lucky devils.
Which
I don't really want it, but I know there's so many goddamn fakes of it, so I will not buy one.
Nah.
So it's just like I really want the games on here, and I know a lot of them already are, because if you just listen to certain podcasts with people who are in that scene, the mod scene, let's say, a lot of them have now been preserved, and a lot of them have been dumped onto online.
Right.
And I'm not talking about like their relationships are broken down. No, the codes have all been dumped online basically for people to reverse engineer, make them into ROMs and playable on computers. Which, look, I kind of don't see a problem with it in some respects if you have no legal means to play the game.
Yeah.
And this happening now means that we're going to have a problem in terms of playing some of these games in a legal method. So it sort of skirts the line of like legality, let's say, but it's not illegal to actually take a physical version of a game and then dump the code,
right?
Because you actually own the game,
right? Exactly.
Yeah. So what you'll find a lot of people will do. Sorry, I'm just
no, you're fine.
I know too much about this from listening to videos and all that from years gone by. So If you own like a disc, a cartridge, or anything like that, you can then take that code, dump the code onto there to create a copy for you to play without, like, while still preserving your physical copy.
Uh-huh.
That's happened for years, but it's when people obviously dump those ROMs onto devices and then sell them. That's
Right.
where the problem lies,
Yeah.
because it's not their intellectual property.
No, exactly. Exactly.
So, any more thoughts
Uh,
that I haven't covered?
I was gonna say that was actually quite thorough. No, but I would love to hear from our listeners and
Yeah.
watchers.
Nana just put, this is dumb, to be honest. At least most of the Wii U library, besides Xenoblade X, is on the Switch. Yeah, Xenoblade X hasn't made it over, but I think that's happening.
I think, yeah.
Well, they announced Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and that, Xenoblade Definitive Edition came to the Switch after Xenoblade 2 was done, so
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
And considering the fact
It's a
that,
big game. Like, people, a lot of fans. It's a huge fan base.
oh yeah, and also I heard something very interesting that the Wii U, one of the patches for it was actually a HD texture pack for that game.
Right. Oh my goodness.
Oh dear. But it's fine. I'm sure that will be something that they'll sort out. They have a very good engine now for it, and
Right, yeah.
more familiarity with the Switch, so they'll probably be able to do that in a pretty decent way now.
I think so. I hope so.
So.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to this last mysterious story.
Okay. Because I'm
Because there
barely
is a
hanging
bit
on.
of a mystery about this one.
Okay.
Capcom will announce Street Fighter 6 on Monday, it's claimed.
Yeah.
Multiple sources reportedly claim Capcom's countdown, that's the mystery,
Mm-hmm.
is relating to the fighting game series. I don't know if you saw this, but there is actually a countdown timer currently going on Capcom's website.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I did. Of course I did.
Of course you did.
Being the Capcom apologist that I am,
Yes.
as always stated, Capcom will announce Street Fighter 6 when its countdown timer concludes on Monday morning, it's claimed. That's according to GamesBeat journalist Jeff Grubb. Of course, it's the Grubmeister.
I was going to say, and he's one of the more, if not the most reliable for these.
Him and Nate Drake.
Yeah.
So, who said on his paywalled Giant Bomb video show, transcribed by VGC. Yeah, thanks for putting that in there, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put a link to Giant Bomb to pay for this.
Yeah.
So, he's heard from multiple sources that a new Street Fighter was what Capcom's teaser site is ticking towards. So, I'll get into this in a minute.
Yeah.
So, everyone should expect Street Fighter 6 because that's what I've heard, Jeff Grubb said.
Mm-hmm.
According to the timer on Capcom's website, the reveal will be made at 1 a.m. Eastern Time, 6 a.m. GMT on Monday, February 21st, or Sunday, 10 p.m. Pacific Time. The hell is that?
It's my fan. I mean, my heater. Is it too loud?
It might be a little bit too
I'm
loud.
getting cold.
I'm sorry.
It's alright.
I apologise. So, right. So, although there's been no indication from Capcom for what exactly the countdown is ticking towards, fans have expected something Street Fighter related. I'm not saying the next part of this because it's exactly what I was going to mention.
Right.
So, the reason why I'm not mentioning it is because I know a fair bit about this.
Yes.
So, the countdown timer is due to end for us in the UK at 6 a.m. on Monday morning, tomorrow morning, let's say, or this morning as this will release.
Oh, yes, exactly.
In terms of the audio version. So, currently at the moment, there has been a couple of days of exhibition games, but today is the finale of this year's CPT, which is the Capcom Pro Tour.
Right.
And that it coincides with the fact that the Capcom Pro Tour is ending for this season.
So.
Today.
Right.
So the countdown timer ends as soon as the Capcom Cup is done.
So does that lend support to the idea that it could be
100%. There is, as soon as I saw this countdown timer and I saw the date on it, I went, yeah, this has got to be Street Fighter 6. I can't see this being anything else.
Right.
And also based on the fact that we did the huge episode on the Capcom links, what
Mm-hmm.
showed up in there?
Oh, right.
Street Fighter 6.
I forgot about the links.
What has also been stated recently in previous stories as well that we might or might not have covered. I cannot remember as far back as that, because I'll be honest, I put together a lot of episodes.
Right. Yes.
The final DLC character was Luke for
Right.
Street Fighter V, who it was previously stated would be very important to Street Fighter's future.
Mm-hmm.
It has been no secret that they have been working on something in the background for a long time, and it is exactly the reason why Yoshinori Ono left the company, because apparently the higher ups at Capcom were not happy about the direction that Street Fighter 6 was taking.
Oh, right. Oh.
Too much evidence to prove this way.
Uh-huh.
So, whilst I think Jeff Grubb is on the money here, I just think it's too obvious to even make the point.
Ah, right.
So I like Jeff's work. He does great work in terms of like industry insider stuff, but it doesn't. I'm afraid to say it doesn't take a genius to work this one out. You don't need a degree in astrophysics to work out the time-space continuum of Capcom working on Street Fighter 6.
Oh goodness, that's very funny. I was gonna ask you something about Street Fighter, and it just left my head. Well, how excited are you for this? For our listeners, he's doing the puppy face where it's just a little half smile.
I'm now stroking my chin in contemplation.
Yes.
I don't know, actually. I don't know how I feel about this, because we've had now nearly 6... Jesus!
What?
Oh my god, it has actually been 6 years since Street Fighter V released.
Yeah, you've actually brought up before how this is like ridiculously...
No, cries in time lost. Jesus. No, because it came out, I think, the 16th of February 2016, so we now have that anniversary. Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I remember buying my PS4 for it as well. Yeah, that's why I bought a PS4. I was like, nah, I'm buying a PS4 for Street Fighter 5. Now, look how well that went.
Well.
So that's why I'm a bit hesitant about this, because I've been burned before.
Yes.
I'm excited enough for them to reveal a new game. I'm concerned when they'll release it. I'm concerned about the roster, and I'm concerned about how it will play. My biggest concern of this is, does this stay Sony exclusive, or does this go multi-platform again?
Right.
Also, one other concern, is this esports focused again? Because I do not like the direction they took with 5 in terms of the esports focus.
But I would almost assume that it is.
Oh, I am as well. In this instance, I'm just going to say Capcom Pro Tour makes too much sense for them. It makes quite a fair bit of money in terms of advertisement and cross-promotion they have with other content creators and stuff like that. It sort of makes a lot of sense for them to carry on the market in that way. I don't know. I just really like the traditional Street Fighter. You know, just pick up a controller and just play it with your mates, or go to the arcades and play it, sort of thing. But obviously, arcades are basically pretty much defunct at this point, and you know, online play is more where people want to go. So, if Capcom are going to go forward with the idea of obviously being esports focused and mainly being online, please God, don't make it always online, for God's sakes.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Please have a good netcode if you're going to do that, because the netcode is absolutely appallingly bad in 5, and it took them so long to even make it serviceable, let alone good. So please do something with that. And if you're going to do it, get Dimps on it, because Dimps are great. I mean, yeah, Dimps are the company that do a lot of external work for Capcom.
Ah, right.
Yeah, but this one of the other things, obviously, to do with this story as well is that actually this is coinciding with the 35th anniversary of Street Fighter as well. So it might, it may not be Street Fighter 6. I couldn't see any reason why it shouldn't be Street Fighter 6, but it
Right.
could be a 35th anniversary game or something along those lines.
Right.
It's very possible, let's say,
Right.
because the 30th anniversary had the 30th anniversary collection, and that. Oh my god, why was that only 5 years ago? Oh my god,
uh,
I'm so old. I was a young,
uh,
fresh-faced 20-something-year-old when that game came out. Now I'm a fresh-faced 30-something-year-old. Any thoughts? I know Street Fighter's not your bag usually, but hey,
no, I just have to give me more cosplay inspirations.
yes. I
That's
mean,
what I like it
I'm
for.
I'm actually surprised you didn't go ahead with the Akira cosplay from Street Fighter 5 because that was excellent.
Yeah. Um. I
Well,
think.
Biker Chick probably would have suited
Yeah.
you.
I've got to take a relook. It's because of the pandemic. It threw off all of my plans for
Sure.
various cosplays.
Yeah,
Um.
which would have been fanfare, obviously.
Oh yeah. Which is still on hiatus.
I was supposed to mention it to you during our planning, but we'll get into that next week.
Yep. Nana says, "Yep, I should cosplay as Jury Han." So.
Oh, of course he would say that. Of course he would say that.
uh,
She suits you. Yes, she actually does.
does she have pink
Well,
hair?
if you wanted to talk about her character, she's basically an assassin.
Oh right. Um.
She specializes. God, what is the martial arts? I want to say it's Taekwondo.
All right. Yeah, I see. She's got a lot of leg action.
Yeah, she's very much focused
A
on
lot of hanging
kicks.
horses. Wait, are you sure it's Taekwondo, not Thai? Kickboxing?
I don't know.
It's alright. It doesn't matter. That's very
Yeah,
boring.
martial arts are not exactly my
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's boring
of
for everybody else.
expertise, no.
Uh,
But yeah, she is very much focused on kick-based movement. Let's say. She doesn't use a lot of punches.
I love.
It's fine.
I miss all of that.
She is a cool character though. I will give Nana that. He has focused on probably one of the better Street Fighter female characters.
Well, I like her pink highlights. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure I liked her redesign in 5 though. It was a bit weird. Like if you look at her Street Fighter 4 model, it is excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Street Fighter 5 one just looks a bit strange to me.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I hope there's going to be a good roster of characters in this one. Hopefully there'll be a lot more females for you to cosplay.
Yep. It would be nice. It's funny. I always find it very interesting that I absolutely adore martial arts, and I've been practicing them since I was 20.
Yeah.
And yet I don't play fighting games. It's very weird to me.
Nice. It's not weird at all because most fighting games are just ridiculous. Like they're not anything like the actual martial arts.
Oh my
at all.
gosh, having to memorize all those button presses is just not my thing.
Well, it's not as hard as you think it is. Honestly, it's like with any sort of game, it's repetition, or anything in life is repetition. So you become familiar with it.
Yeah.
Try now. I did this once before as a thought exercise to a friend who played fighting games,
Right.
and I noted down a particular combo that that could be done in Marvel vs. Capcom,
Right.
and he looked at that and went, "The hell is this?"
Yeah.
And it just looks like absolute gibberish.
Yeah.
But when you're actually doing it, it's all about muscle memory, and it's
Yeah.
just, you just do it instinctively, but if you were to look at the annotations, especially when people put 6, like the actual numerical annotations, and I'm like, oh my god, that confuses the all hell out of me.
Yeah.
Right, so like 6, I believe, is like forward on the joystick.
Oh gosh,
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going into this.
No.
It's just too stupid.
I'm barely hanging on as it is now.
I know. So
We've
it's
done
just
well for a news show. What are we at? An hour 30?
Well, without a recorder in the background, I can't tell you
Oh, right.
that. So we just had a couple of comments in terms
Yep,
of
go
this.
for it.
Dr. Virtual put, "Ooh, Street Fighter 6, lovely." Yeah,
So at least
that's
he's
exactly what I thought.
excited, yeah.
Yeah, Nana put they might do rollback in this one because they patched it into 5. Mm. If that's your idea of what rollback is, then
Oh, gosh.
Jesus.
Yes.
Ugh. Ugh.
I
That was
remember,
terrible rollback.
I remember Pete explaining this to me and Kieran, I believe.
Oh, I tried and I pulled
Yeah.
the absolute pants off of the pair of you.
I hung on as long as I could. I like that you know all that stuff.
Yeah, it was the fact that I was talking about the netcode in terms of Back for Blood in the article, and most of what I said got cut because it wasn't vital information.
That was down to me. I cut a lot of that just because it didn't go to the actual.
I know it's not
But
everyone's bag to actually talk about netcode and all that sort of thing.
I know you don't have time for this really, but I think that would be actually good if you did do an explainer, especially if we end up reviewing 6 Street Fighter 6.
I will look. I'll put my hat right out here, right this second now, that if someone wants to allow me to review Street Fighter 6 one day when it does come out, then I will go ham with that content. I will go mad. I would stream the game. I'd probably do videos on it. I've got the computer to be able to do it now. I'd probably play it on multiple platforms. I've got an arcade stick for it. I'll probably do some some tutorial videos on it. But I'll probably do a primer video just on the netcode alone. I could probably talk about it for hours.
Well, but I think if you explain to just the common man about, netcode and rollbacks and all of that stuff, because people like me, just the average person, average gamer, we don't know about that stuff. I would have never known about what rollback was if you hadn't said it.
Yeah, it's a weird one. You wouldn't even know about GGPO unless I would have said it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so. But that's the thing is obviously because I play those types of games, it's quite important to know about that kind of thing, especially in the digital age, let's call it.
Yeah.
You know, where most of your games are going to have some sort of online integration, and if you don't know I'd say if you don't know the general basics of how netcode operates, you can't necessarily complain about how they don't work.
Yeah, I think,
Whereas, I look at this and I go, man, Halo's servers kind of suck sometimes, because they're not great. They're not fantastic. Whereas you look at Destiny, an independent company, and their netcode is absolutely superb. Yeah. But it's an always online game. You sort of expect that.
Yeah, I think it relies.
But when it goes down, Jesus Christ, it goes down.
It goes all the way down.
Yeah, so that's the problem with having some netcode integration with your games, is that you just if it goes wrong, it goes seriously wrong. But if it's working optimally, then it's perfect.
Right. Well.
Anyway, but you can't forgive bad internet.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So, we did that one. By that I mean the best they could do with ruining the game. Haha. Yes, they improved it mildly and made it somewhat serviceable, which is quite hard. Which is quite a terrible thing to do when your Capcom Pro Tour from 2020 has gone online only.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear. That's enough of that. So. I think that's a show.
I think that's a show. We got it in the can, as they say, which is good. Because I am about to run out of steam. I need to restart Steam. Anyway.
With that said, do you want to let everyone know where they potentially can follow you on the social medias?
Yes, if you're out and about in the world, as it is, so it were, you can find me over on Twitter at Kiley to Greet, which is KILEYTEHGREET. Haha, I did it, Pete.
You plugged that out of the deep recesses of your mind.
I had to think on that one. But Pete, what about you? Where can they find you in Neverland?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at PeteBeckett1, which is spelled BECKETT, and the number 1. You can also find me talking about movies on the Never Watchers podcast, Marvel Cinematic Universe based podcast.
Yeah, it's a good one. Well, I think that's going to do it for us for this week's show. So then we will talk to you and see you next week. Bye.
Goodbye.
That ends the podcast portion of the show. I'm so tired.
I know, I can see that.
I am hanging on so hard.
Like, when we got to the Nintendo, 3DS and Wii U stories, I could see you proper fading, and I'm like, I think I'm just going to have to talk here for a while.
Yeah, I'm so glad
That's why I
did.
didn't shut up.
No, I think that's great. Because it's just like, everything just went pew.
Yeah, you had that fatal fatal error.
Oh
yeah,
my, yes,
you
exactly.
blue screened it deathly.
Yeah. I'm one step away from a blue
screen. I was trying to
screen.
think of the code. It's a 404, isn't it?
Yeah, 404 error. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, chat. We'll hang around for another minute or two.
Appreciate that. It's a great show today, guys.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was. It was kind of a thrown together last minute one because
it was.
Our original plans, kind of fell through.
People. No, we had asked a few people if they wanted to come on and discuss game preservation in terms of the Wii U and the 3DS stores shutting down, but everyone was busy.
Yeah, it's just that time of year.
Because planning an episode on a Thursday and then asking people on a Friday is a really bad idea.
It's true. Last minute shows aren't great, so we'll try again this week with a different topic, I think. I don't remember.
We'll give it a go, We'll see what we can try and sort out. But I do have an idea in the background that we had obviously discussed before that I think we could tackle again.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it, obviously, more in terms of our planning this week.
Yeah, but...
Which we will do on this Friday, I believe.
Yeah.
Maybe Thursday. Thursday or Friday, either way, it doesn't matter.
Well, we definitely thank all of our viewers. We had actually quite a few.
We had a few, yeah. It was good.
Show up.
It's not too bad, actually.
But I'm tired now. I'm done.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for stopping by and listening, watching, however you do. We appreciate your support. We appreciate your comments. We appreciate the interaction that you have. We are hopeful that you enjoyed the show.
Yes.
And I'm going to take my announcer voice off now and say goodbye.
We'll see y'all in the future.
Yes.